Metzger, the one-time surfer and pole vaulter, of course went to UCLA, won 3 championships. He's tied with Mike Bright and John Hanley for 28th on the all-time wins list with 16. His partner Mike Lambert, 33 years old now. He led Stanford to the 1997 NCAA title. A 2-time AVP MVP. Good team together. They've got 3 wins. John Hyden is 34 years old, one of the greatest players ever out of San Diego State University. Once had 56 kills in an NCAA match, which was a record that stood for over 10 years. Big hitter, good player, and a mentor for a youngster named Brad Keenan, 25 years old, living in Santa Ana, California. He was the Rookie of the Year a season ago. This guy has come on very, very quickly, and today he has a chance to win the first tournament of his career. Could be a big day for Brad Keenan.
Absolutely, and I like how you said one of the greatest out of San Diego State.
He's the second. He's the second greatest.
With 2 Aztecs here on the broadcast team, Mike Dodd and Chris Marlowe.
By the way, quick note, Mike Dodd has just been elected to the San Diego State Hall of Fame. He will be inducted in November. We congratulate MD. Way to go, Mike Dodd. So Mike Dodd going into the Aztec Hall of Fame. John Hyden, he's a candidate, and we're underway. Keenan's got it up. And the ball is blocked on the line. Nice play by Mike Lambert.
And I swear that the bio says Keenan is only 6 foot 8 inches, but watch his wingspan here. Look at how far he gets that right arm out. That is going to be a more difficult shot. That is one of Stein Metzger's favorite shots. Hitting the ball with his, what we call the knuckle shot, the pokey, but unable to convert that opportunity.
Net was rattling, no call. Our men's officials, Rick Beatty and Ken Matz. We'll see if they're a factor today as Keenan puts it away. Keenan, big, strong, athletic.
And you can see how that set, Hyden sets aren't known as the most accurate, but even when they blow way off the net, 8 feet like that, Keenan is so big with such long arms, he can put that ball away easily.
Keenan, the 5th best server on the Crocs AVP Tour. Had 56 aces this year. And Lambert thunders one down the line. So Mike Lambert gets the kill. Lambert at 6'6".
And you can see on this block, Lambert's going to be given the line there by Keenan. That's a design play. Keenan reaches to his right, taking the angle. Hyden has to take the line.
2-1 Metzger Lambert lead. And Hyden again with the set to Keenan, who gets the kill. You would think people would want to serve Hyden since he's shorter, but I talked to a number of players. Nobody likes serving John Hyden. His arm is too quick. He's got a lot of wrist snap. A big hitter on the tour. Here comes Metzger. Pokes it long. Hyden is there. Metzger pulls up. And an open net. See ya. Stein Metzger pounding against John Hyden.
Metzger slavering over that set. Rarely does any player on this tour get to hit with an open net, and Hyden realized it at the last second, trying to save it. Metzger didn't even think Hyden was going to be close to the net there. Really nice up by Metzger. Perfect defense, changing his angle, keeping the ball on his side of the net.
Lambert and Metzger, the top-seeded team on the AVP Tour this week. Keenan and Hyden second. Here's Brad Keenan. See ya. So Keenan shuffles one through.
And that's his favorite shot. When the set goes close to the net, as we just saw there, Keenan is so tall with those long arms, he can hit radically sharp angles. Really hard for a digger like Metzger or anybody to control.
And Keenan rockets one long. So that will cost Keenan and Hyden a point. We come to our first break. We're here in Chicago, game 1. Lambert and Metzger leading 4-3. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Along with Karch Karai, I'm Chris Marlowe. We are underway, and certainly one of the most talented teams in America right now, Stein Metzger. Mike Lambert got a slow start this year, Karch, but they've really been coming on.
You know, they came out a little slowly in both the last 2 years. Stein Metzger had a knee injury in 06, and in 07, just 10 days before the start of the season, Mike Lambert pulled a quad muscle. Feeling much better now. He's able to get deeper on his blocking. He loves to get way down. You can see it. He dived out of the screen there. when he gets down far enough into that squat position, he can be much more effective as a blocker. And of course, he's always been really effective as an offensive player. The guy who has to carry more of the load offensively is Stein Metzger, and he picked up his game in the second half of the season. They started finishing all across the map, and in fact losing 2 straight in Dallas, but now they have 3 wins, looking for their 4th.
Well, you've seen some of the evidence of Brad Keenan, 6'8", 25 years old, one of the great young players on tour. He can win his first tournament this week, and he'll have to do it with John Hyden, an old veteran who can lead him there.
And they hooked up just for 1 tournament early this year when John Hyden's normal partner, George Romaine, got hurt. They played so well together. John Hyden thought, well, should we play some more? They hooked up, and they're still together this season in their first final.
Brad Keenan and John Hyden in their first final, as Karch told you. Their best finish this season is a couple of thirds. The last 4 weeks, 2 thirds and 2 fifths. And today, a chance to break through. Great crowd here in Chicago. I think most people would tell you that perhaps outside of Manhattan Beach, California, that Chicago is the biggest and grandest event on tour. Keenan goes over the top with the cut shot.
And in fact, Chicago was one of the first places the AVP Tour evolved and went to outside the state of California. This tour started as a Southern California all-amateur tour. Now it's nationwide, and Chicago's one of the players' favorites.
Here comes Metzger. Oh, and there's Keenan. Like a young Marlowe getting way, way over the net.
Let's not get nutty here. Keenan this time, earlier we saw him taking the line. Watch, he steps to his right a little, reaches out, takes that line shot. We'll see what he takes this time.
Cross-court spike, good by Stein Metzger.
One of the things that Keenan can do with the height and the length of his arms is he can wait longer as a blocker. You'll see him really looking at the opposing hitter for clues, trying to anticipate and take that shot away, but he can wait a lot longer than most blockers.
Here comes John Hyden, spiking attempt, and he chops it through. Hyden, a 2-time Olympian, 1996 and 2000, and a very versatile all-around player. Played left side most of his indoor career, and he's played left and right on the beach. 6'5", Keenan. And the cross-court shot is good.
And you know, in the last 3 or 4 plays, we've seen 3 of the players really show us nice vision. Watch here. Hyden's going to come this way. The court is wide open to his left. Metzger sees that so well, and we saw those same types of shots from Hyden and Keenan earlier. So all 4 players showing us great court vision.
Stein Metzger with a little jump floater. That's been one of the books I was told on playing against Brad Keenan, is to serve him short. It's an old Al Skates, the coach of UCLA, serve the big guys short.
Absolutely. But he makes a nice pass on this, and the trouble is you serve him short, he doesn't have very far to run. He doesn't need much of a jump. We were playing at him Huntington Beach earlier this year. He put a ball away standing on us, and he blocked me once standing. He gets his hands over the net without even getting off his toes.
That last hit 42 miles an hour. Remember, you're only 15 feet away, so that's coming quick. And Metzger turns it down the line. Chicago action heating up. We are tied 7-all. Big crowd here for the McDonald's Chicago Open presented by Nautica. We're underway in game 1. Jeff Alzina is the head coach for Stein Metzger, and Mike Lambert, just a moment ago, we caught him talking to the fellas.
He's had a couple nice strong hits, but they're getting a pretty high set, pretty far off, and if he's in early at all, he's just going to look and move it. Like that cut?
That's a really good one to drop on. If he'll look and he drops his arm, if I can catch it, it's not a gnarly cut shot.
See if you can feel his acceleration or lack of. He's in early at all. You know, especially in the middle. Especially in the middle.
Well, what Coach Alzina is talking about, hitters want to be their best when they come in fast and strong. They get a better jump. But he wants Lambert to drop off a little, as any blocker should. If a hitter comes in and slows down, it's not going to be a hard hit. It's going to be a soft shot, and that's when both players are going to be better off back off the net, chasing those soft shots down.
Brad Keenan demonstrating that he's got a nice touch, a nice little cutback shot. And here comes Keenan. And he aces. So Brad Keenan dials one up and scores a point. By the way, we'll be talking to Jeff Alzina a little bit later. Get him live for you. Look at that serve. Wow. Location, location, location.
Absolutely. And now what will happen is that Metzger and Lambert will probably lean a little to their right, and that opens something else up.
Metzger on attack. And Keenan is there.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris, so far, Keenan is not looking like he has the first final jitters. Great block right after he notches up the ace there, reaching in, and they doubled up on defense that time. Hyden was digging the angle. Oftentimes hitters will see, well, there's a digger there. There can't be a blocker in my way also, but Keenan dives right in, gets his second block.
Keenan off to a good start. He's the leading killmeister on the AVP tour. He averages almost 8 kills per game.
And that's just what I was talking about. He aced Lambert down the line, so they lean to their right. What's going to be open? Remember, the ace was over here before. They're leaning the other way, and they get ace to their left. Now they both have to split up a little, and Keenan might try to hit the middle ace.
4 straight points for the red hat. You had the pink hat cards for 28 years, and now Keenan with the red hat. He'll spin it short. Metzger. Keenan is there again.
And that's where you can see Keenan doesn't even have to jump that high, but with those long arms and being very close to the ground, he can still get blocks like this. Little too close. Metzger was looking a little too long at the defense, lowered his arm, and now, of course, timeout, Metzger and Lambert.
Keenan, an early nominee for the Blockmeister General. Keenan, Hyden leading 12-7. AVP Crocs Tour here in Chicago. John Hyden, Brad Keenan off to a good start, leading 12-7. Let's go down, check in with Mike Dodd, who's got the big fella, Brad Keenan. Mike.
Thank you, Chris. Brad, so much for the first final jitters. You're playing great so far.
Yeah, I'm feeling great out here. It's a great atmosphere to play in.
So far, when you're going up on Stein, it looks like you might have a set plan, but you're kind of changing midair and taking away what you see. Is that what you're doing right now? More blocking the ball than anything?
I think it's more of me lining up on the right spot, yeah.
Okay, well, keep it up. Chris Karchi, back to you.
Brad Keenan actually discovered by another Pepperdine kid, John Mayer, who played with him parts of the last 2 years. After Sean Rooney went to Korea, nobody knew whether Rooney was coming back in time for the beach, and Mayer said to Keenan, who was working at a desk job, hey, why don't you come out and play some volleyball? And he has, and it's gone pretty well. At least it did there.
So much for that desk job. And Mayer smart. He's just digging into that Pepperdine wave connection, coming up with big blocker after big blocker.
So Mayer and Keenan playing together for a while until John Hyden, who was playing with George Romain, they had a splitting up. And then Keenan getting with Hyden. More on that in a minute. Here comes Lambert. And Lambert bounces one high, 25 feet into the air.
Well, you were talking about Hyden and George Romain. They started together early, and then George had a medical issue after the Dallas tournament, the second tournament of the year. Hyden was left without a partner for figuring it was just for one weekend. They hooked up together. Keenan and Hyden had a great finish, almost made the final in Huntington Beach. Then found out Romain was injured for longer, and the rest is history. They're a team for the whole year.
Bad pass there. Keenan, no. Point for Lambert and Metzger. Let's check in with Heather Cox.
Well, very surprising to see that Stein Metzger might be a little bit nervous playing against Brad Keenan, because actually they're quite good friends and sparring partners. When Brad Keenan came onto the tour for the first time, Stein practiced with him. They were training partners throughout the season until Brad Keenan took a third in Hermosa. Stein said, I used to give him tips until then he got too good. The strategy today for Stein, serve Brad as much as possible, but move him around. Don't make it easy for the big fella, guys.
Well, so far it's been looking easy for Keenan, despite the fact that Metzger and Lambert are the more experienced team. So another block. Make that the 4th block already for big Brad Keenan.
Well, I think the big story really has been that Keenan and Hyden are playing like the experienced veterans. And Lambert and Metzger not close to playing at the level they're used to, having played in so many finals, though. Keenan doing a great job, not showing any nerves in his first final.
Keenan at the net, Hyden serving. It's 13-9. Metzger took a look. Hyden's got it. Great play by John Hyden. And he floats it out of bounds. Had a tough chance and couldn't convert.
Well, Hyden is known better for his control of the really hard hit shots, but he does a nice job of just getting his thumb barely on this ball. Keenan not able to put him. See, that set is about 10 feet off. Hyden, instead of keeping it in play and giving his partner another chance to block, makes the error and gives the unforced error easy point down the line for Lambert Metzger.
13-10 now. Keenan and Hyden lead. And Keenan over the top. He guided it out of bounds. So a crafty little play by Mike Lambert.
Well, that's where he sensed that lack of acceleration we heard their coach Jeff Alzina talking about. The set was off the net a little, and Keenan could not hit that ball hard. Lambert knew it, so he goes back for the shot. Keenan tried to place it in too perfect of a spot.
Ball is blocked. Lambert is there. So in the early going, it was Brad Keenan dominating. Now it's Mike Lambert. He's taken over.
Well, that's where the defense on Lambert and Metzger really starts, is with his blocking. Let's watch if he's able to get in this low blocking position that he likes there. Yeah, we could see it. He really got down into a crouch. He disappears completely out of the camera angle on this net cam view. That's how he likes to block. He was not able to do that early this season. His quad muscle feeling a lot stronger now. Blocking back to form.
5-1 run before that serve into the net. So that cost Lambert a point. And the ball back over to Hyden and Keenan.
And you can notice Keenan was hitting his serve really hard from the left side of the court here, the north side here in Chicago, but he's given an easy one now to Metzger from that side.
Metzger's in tight, goes right over the top. Well, Stein Metzger, who was 5th at the 2004 Athens Games, very experienced.
And you'll be able to see there Keenan taking the angle in their design play. Hyden trying to arrive late, but gets there too late. And that shot just too tough to get to. You don't want to defend the actual sideline of the court.
Metzger's team down by 1 as he serves into the net. So 2 straight serving errors. That's one of the 7 times you should never serve out of bounds or into the net. 15-13. Keenan and Hyden on top. Don't forget the McDonald's AVP Chicago Open presented by Nautica. On the air tomorrow, we'll present the Women's Championship Final. 12th stop on the AVP Crocs Tour. Don't forget to join us right here, the AVP on NBC. Chris Marlowe, Karch Garai, Mike Dodd, Heather Cox. Karch Garai won this tournament 5 times. Mike Dodd won this tournament 2 times. Heather Cox and I never won here.
And John Hyden made his first final here a few years ago, playing with his opponent across the net, Mike Lambert.
Off speed. Let's re-identify for you Brad Keenan, the youngster, 25 years old, in his first final, trying to win his first tournament. His partner is a former 2-time indoor Olympian, John Hyden, who's won once. Interestingly, with Lambert on the other side, as Karch has alluded to and discussed. And Lambert's partner, Stein Metzger, spiking right there. As we mentioned, Metzger and Lambert, slow start this year, but they have now won 3 AVP tournaments and considered one of 3 teams that has a chance to represent the United States in Beijing, less than a year away now, Karch.
Starting August 8th of next year, opening ceremonies.
Here comes Keenan, and Keenan hammers another one. Bradley. In 11 tournaments so far, Keenan with 3/3 and 4/5. So he's a promising youngster. What makes him hard to block, Karch?
Well, even if he gets set off the net, it's just so tough because, number one, he can absolutely hit the snot out of the ball like he does there, but he's also got a really tough flat line shot that goes over Lambert's block.
Metzger getting a lot of serves now. And Hyden with a dig. Keenan running, yes! Free ball to Lambert. Lambert looking for Whamma, and he's got it over the top.
The only thing that I thought that was surprising on that play, Hyden does a great job of digging Stein Metzger once. I say go back to him. Watch here. Hyden's going to dig the hard-driven ball. He does that so well. But now he should go back to Stein Metzger. He does not. Gives it to the Lambo, who's got the high heat, the high shot there, and Hyden doesn't chase that down as well. Keenan, of course, showing his athletic ability there, chasing down that hard-driven ball, that dig that came up from his partner in the backcourt, getting back up to the net quickly.
First 2 games to 21. Here comes Keenan. And what an up by Metzger. And he puts it away. Stein Metzger. That ties it up at 17.
And we get to watch here one of the absolute masters of the chase down defense, Stein Metzger. Not only that, he puts this ball away with no approach. You saw him just stand there and jump and put that ball away. Keenan probably should have dropped off the net on that, but Metzger has a great combination of both digging the hard-driven ball and chasing down those shots. You saw him just get his thumbs under. He does a great job with his platform of keeping the ball on his side of the net.
Lambert with the serve, 17 all. And Keenan hammers one through. Well, let's take a look now at our Crocs Cup standings. This is the season-ending championship, and it could get very interesting if Metzger and Lambert can win here today, Karch.
Well, absolutely. Lambert and Metzger way down if you see here the standings, but 2 teams, the top 2, Dahlhauser-Rogers and Gibb and Rosenthal, not playing here this weekend, playing overseas, trying to gain Olympic qualification points. If Lambert Metzger win this tournament, they'll only be 162 points down in the Crocs Cup standings. And then it's a horse race with about 4 tournaments to go through the end of the regular season on the AVP Tour.
Crocs Cup signifying the best volleyball team on the beach. Used to be the Kings of the Beach. They just said you're the Kings of the Beach, the mythical side. This is actually an earned championship. The dig, yes! Oh, Stein Metzger! A straight down blast, and Metzger takes it with decks awash.
And Metzger, as I said, one of the all-time great combinations, certainly one of the best 2 or 3 defensive players on this tour. 2 plays ago, we saw him make a great transition off a soft shot. That time, a hard-driven ball, controls it right back over the net. Amazing defense by Stein Metzger.
First lead since 4-3. Metzger gets a dig and a kill, according to our ace stat man, Mike Sondheimer. Now Metzger at 19-18. Keenan. And Keenan snaps right on the line. Got the very outside half of that blue tape. Game is to 21. You must win by at least 2.
We get a great vision here from the end. Watch this ball just kiss the tape. The sand is nice and smooth there. They smooth that out between stoppages in play, and easy play for the referee to make.
Lambert unloads. That makes it 20-19, and the first game point coming up.
There, Keenan, you could see barely getting his hands over the net. He has to get over a lot farther. I think they made a big mistake, though, even going to Mike Lambert at all. They've got to make Stein Metzger put that ball away. And now probably going to Keenan to try to make him save the game.
First game point. Keenan, cut shot out of bounds. So Metzger and Lambert rally. At one point they were down 12-7. Behind some blocks by Lambert, some amazing defensive plays. They come all the way back to win game 1. Game 1, Metzger, Lambert will continue with our coverage of the AVP on NBC after this. AVP Crocs Tour rolling on here in the Windy City. This is the McDonald's Chicago Open presented by Nautica. Our men's championship final. Mike Lambert and Stein Metzger rally to win game 1 impressively. Now for a beach peek. Let's go down to the sand and join Heather Cox.
And Chris, game one, truly a game of runs. Stein and Mike down at one point, 12-5. Stein, as we took a look at the beach peek, what was the key to really gaining momentum in that game?
Well, probably the key was Brad stopped scoring points. He's getting so many aces and digs or blocks. I think Mike and I, after we went down a little bit, we had a timeout and we just talked to each other and said, hey, we've been in this position before. Let's go out there, let's get a little animated if we start scoring a couple points, and we found a way to turn it around.
And animated you were. I saw you scream during one of the timeouts, then you came out, scored back-to-back points. How difficult is it to hit against this Brad Keenan block?
His arms are so long that it's really quite scary, actually, to go up against him. But once you find your rhythm, you know, we start passing well, I think we're going to find our rhythm.
All right, best of luck in game two. Thanks for your time. Back to you guys.
Stein Metzger, sensational in game one. Got the brunt of the serving attack. Sometimes you have a lot of kills because you get served a lot. He got 12 receptions. Lambert only got 2.
But there were several transition plays where Lambert ended up getting the ball. I think all those balls have to go to Stein Metzger. Remember, all of Keenan's blocks were on Metzger, not on Lambert. They need to keep the pressure on Stein Metzger, but I think Keenan and John Hyden have to think that they let that one slip away from that 12-7 lead. Got to come back strong to start game two if they want to have any chance to win this match.
Mike Lambert will start serving here in game two. Let's see how Keenan and Hyden respond. Lambert with the block. It's 1-0. Our stats after game one. Hyden and Keenan got off to a fast start, but Lambert and Metzger came on.
Well, you can see on the lower right there, hitting errors. Hyden and Keenan kept them down early in game one to get that 12-7 lead. Then 5 hitting errors in the second half of that first game.
Lambert seems to be getting the timing on Keenan as Big Brad goes through.
And you were talking about in the break, Chris, Keenan and Hyden could be feeling a little, especially Keenan getting all these serves, could be feeling a little tired. They both said yesterday was the toughest day on the whole tour so far. It was so hot and humid here in Chicago.
Lambert gets a serve, and Lambert is blocked. There are some theorists on the beach that think that a better way to attack Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert is to actually serve Lambert because he's not quite as consistent. You agree with all that or any of it?
I think that was smarter earlier when he was still coming back from that quad strain. Now I don't think it's such a wise move. Every so often, yes. That's the guy they have to keep it on. That's where Keenan now with his 6th block, 5 of them on Metzger, only 1 on Lambert. I think they're better off keeping the ball on Metzger if they want to have a chance to win this.
You don't like serving Keenan so much, Lambert, do you?
Oh, I do when I'm playing with him, but otherwise, no.
John Hyden with the serve. That ball put away by Stein Metzger. Don't forget, for all the action on the AVP, for stories, you can log on to avp.com. You can watch live streaming video. It's called Mosaic. You can watch from 4 courts all over the beach, and it's avp.com. Get results. Lambert with the block. Keenan shovels it over. Lambert hit it out. That's the kind of error that you sometimes get from Lambert, but what you have to endure in the middle are 2, or 3 straight down cranks.
Well, if you see Mike Lambert make a hitting error, it's usually to his left on the angle. He rarely hits that ball flat and long like that. So an unusual hitting error, a break for Keenan on what should have been an automatic point for Metzger and Lambert.
And the ball just out of bounds, right in the husband and wife area.
That was your definition of the husband and wife right there. They both called you, and they lucked out. The ball was out by 2 inches.
So Metzger and Lambert get a break. They won game 1. And here in game 2, Keenan and Hyden up by 1. Stay tuned. The McDonald's Chicago Open presented by Nautica. The wave unfolding here on our championship court. The coach for Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert is Jeff Alzina. He is wired for sound. Jeff, Chris Marlowe here. Hey, what do you tell your guys when they're trying to hit against Brad Keenan. What's your advice there?
Avoid him like the plague. The guy's absolutely huge. I know you guys said he's 6'8", but his arms are really long. He's got good vision, good hands. So we just try and challenge him high for a while, and then once he goes high, maybe we go low.
Jeff, your team started a little slow in this 2007 season. When do you think they got over the hump and got their game going?
Well, we got over a little hump in Huntington when we lost in the first round and came back 8 matches in a row and won the tournament. But we still sputtered a little bit. We really needed to pass the ball a lot better. Our ball control was pretty shaky at the start of the year, and our chemistry wasn't quite sharp. We didn't celebrate as much as we did last year, even on the little things. Well, yeah, they talked about, and you did too, I think, about analyzing the technique and then just kind of coming down to a point where maybe we got to generate a little more passion. There are a lot of hungry teams out there. When did you arrive at that conclusion, and what'd you do to turn it around there? Well, probably right after Louisville. After Louisville, we played actually played this team here, and they played us really tough. We squeaked it out, but we noticed that on tape that we were playing really, really flat. I asked them if they were tired. They said no. So we started talking about having a leader on every play. We try and make the setter the leader and celebrate the guy's siding out all day who's got to do all the work. So right around then, we really started bringing our whole chemistry, the whole 15-year friendship they have together, and it's paid off.
Hey, Coach, one more question. Dalhausser and Rogers give Rosenthal go to Europe. Metzger and Lambert choose to stay and play and defend their title here in Chicago. Are you happy with the decision your team has made here?
Well, so far it looks like a genius move, but I strongly suggested the other option. I thought we should go and play that Grand Slam just in case something changes next year. But happy with the results so far, and luckily the American teams didn't move too far ahead of us this past weekend in Austria.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. That's Jeff Alzina, coach for Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert. Of course, there have been 2 tournaments in Europe in the past couple of weeks, Switzerland, the World Championship, and Austria. And Keenan is into the net. A violation. Perhaps one of the disadvantages of wearing a shirt as we look at the results for the latest tournament in Europe, the results, and Emmanuel Ricardo on top.
Well, more importantly, look down below the star. 9th for Gibbon Rosenthal and a shocking 17th for Dalhausser Rogers after winning the World Championships just last Sunday. For the first time in ever, actually, there was an American men's team as the world champions. And that's Dalhausser Rogers. So a lot of people thought, boy, Lambert and Metzger are really taking a risk not going to the event in Austria this weekend and allowing their other 2 American men's teams a chance to get ahead of them in Olympic qualification, but neither team did that well. So now, as their coach said, it looks like a genius move. Could have backfired and could have left them way behind. Only 2 teams on the men's side can qualify for the Beijing Olympics.
Metzger and Lambert with a chance to win here today, and thus and increase their standings in the Crocs Cup. That's hard to say. Let's go down to Heather Cox for more.
Well, guys, the AVP allows teams to miss 2 domestic events beginning this season and ending with the Olympic qualification next year in order to qualify for Olympic events. So Stein put it quite simply. He said, we don't feel like we need to be in Austria. We feel like we have a chance to win here in Chicago. The AVP is letting them just miss 2 events. And as you said, the competition chose Chicago to miss. Stein said, you know what, we get 4 more Grand Slam international opportunities next year. We feel we can use those 4 next summer and qualify for Beijing.
All right, Heather, 3rd ace for Keenan. It's a very delicate situation. 3 great USA men's teams, and yet only 2 will qualify for Beijing. If you're not familiar with the rules on how to qualify for the Olympics, you have come to the right place, my friend. There they are.
Well, it looks like it's a little confusing, but what you have to do is play in at least 8 foreign events, international tour events, and then the 2 teams with the 8 best results go to the Olympics. The risk that Lambert and Metzger took was that the other 2 teams would get a great result from Austria and put them behind in the process, but they'll still have plenty of tournaments to try to accumulate their results.
Lambert and Metzger won game 1. If you're just turning on your television set, on the other side of the net, John Hyden, who just spiked that ball, and Brad Keenan. Hyden, very good friends with Mike Lambert. They play on the USA team for 40 years together. And Brad Keenan, the youngster of the group, you might have noticed earlier he was playing with sunglasses, but in the din here, it's a little bit overcast. He has taken them off. Did it at the end of game 1. Do you you remember earlier in your career playing without sunglasses? And when did you start playing with sunglasses?
Well, at that time, there were really no sports sunglasses. That was before the whole era of having a glass that was actually designed to be used, and even you could take an impact in the face and still not hurt yourself. So I couldn't imagine early in my career playing with them. I cannot imagine now playing without. It's just too hard to look into that sun week after week.
Brad Keenan with the reception, 10-9. Nice play by Lambert. Hyden got it back. And Metzger with a dig. Stein Metzger has been the digging star, and he hits it down left-handed. Haven't seen Metzger do that much this season, but the Luigi looking good there.
Well, the best Luigi on the tour we're not seeing this weekend, Sean Rosenthal, but Stein Metzger right up there. When he needs it, he can use it. Hyden with a very nice cover here, but that set is too far off the net. Metzger could still control the ball, could not get far enough over to get his right shoulder to the ball. He puts it away with his left.
10-10, game 2. Look at Metzger's numbers, getting a lot of serves. Lambert's doing the blocking, so don't worry about that. Keenan. Lambert got it up. He guessed right again.
Take a great round of applause.
So Keenan and Hyden get a point, and they lead it 11-10. The McDonald's Chicago Open, presented by Nautica. A sellout crowd. Yeah, every seat sold here this weekend, standing room only. Had a great weekend so far. Now, we talked a lot about John Hyden in this tournament. The veteran has a number of nicknames, and for more on that, let's go down to Chris McGee.
Yeah, you know, Johnny Hyden, you know, when he was at San Diego State University, we called him the H-bomb because the guy just delivered absolute gas and heat. But now he signed on with Jamba Juice. So we figured, why not Johnny Jamba? You know what I mean? Johnny Utah, now Johnny Jamba. He loves it. So every time he gets a dig or he puts the ball away, we just say Johnny Jamba.
All right, Chris McGee. I also been told they called him Johnny the Hand for a while. And Johnny Fat Calf, because he had big fat calves like you have, Karch, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever heard that one.
You never heard Johnny Fat Calf?
No, I haven't. But he does have great vision. You were talking about what a quick and amazing arm swing he has. He also sees the defense so well. That's why you see the ball almost never go to him. Here is the one time it does, and he chooses not even to use his offensive weapons and instead put the ball up and let Keenan hit it on the second contact for the easy put away against Lambert, arriving late on the block from his serving position.
11-all our score. As Johnny Hyden getting ready to serve. Man, he's just wide. By the way, Karch, I heard an interesting story about you that when you were younger and throughout your career, you never had to use sunscreen because your body was so hairy that kind of acted as a sun shield. Is there any truth to that? I've been doing my research.
Are you kidding me? I think that you're talking about you.
That's what I heard. I'm just reporting it. Don't kill the messenger.
Get rid of that sweater, will you?
Our Bud Light tournament recap for Lambert and Metzger. They had a very
well, that long one there against Mariano and Ratliff.
How about that?
33-31. That was huge. Nobody wanted to fall in the losers bracket yesterday. That it was, as I said, the hottest day of the whole tour so far, and it means a lot more matches if you fall into the consolation bracket.
Didn't have to play a 3-game match. That indicates very, very consistent play. Now our Bud Light tournament recap. One of the concerns for Keenan and Hyden coming in, they played a very tough semi against Loomis and Stolfus, outlasting the kids 15-12 in the third. That was a battle.
The only break for them is that today is much cooler than yesterday, and so those last two matches you saw on the screen were earlier today.
John Hyden cuts. Metzger was there. And that ball is hit into the antenna, so that's a hitting error for Metzger after a good dig. We're in the midst of game 2. Keenan and Hyden on the left side of your screen are leading 14-13. Lambert and Metzger won the first. And Hyden set to serve it. Metzger. And Metzger pounds one through. A reminder to stay tuned and watch for the Banana Boat longest lasting rally of the match. Your chance to win a trip to the AVP event at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. When we announce which rally was the longest lasting, log on to avp.com/BB for your chance to win. Of course, Banana Boat providing long lasting protection that just won't quit. You could have used some of that, Coach, instead of the hair.
Where are you coming up?
Hyden was tapping that down. And it's 15-14.
And again, Hyden showing what great vision of the court he has. He gets the ball by the... He's probably one of the guys who gets blocked the least on this tour, and it's because even though he's looking up at the ball, his peripheral vision can see those blockers' hands.
Keenan, shorty, no. So tie the score at 15. $280,000 in total prize money this weekend. As you look at the service errors for Hyden Keenan, now remember early on when they had that big lead, they were serving great, but their serving has tailed off. Keenan pokes it, yes. Good play on two. You don't have to hit the ball 3 times, do you?
No, you don't, but you're taking a risk. Where when you do it like this, John Hyden puts that ball too close. And so Keenan does a great job of finding that open area of the court. Look at Metzger on his knees. There's no way he's going to be able to get that ball, but that was a risky play by Hyden Keenan.
Keenan up by 1. And right by Hyden. Boy, Hyden frustrated. That ball was in his wheelhouse. Couldn't bring it up. Too much steam.
He is frustrated. He comes up with more of those on a typical match. Master of digging those hardest spikes. But he could, and that in fact was the hardest hit of the day. Hyden couldn't control it. That's what he really does better than chasing down the soft shots.
Hyden on attack. Metzger. Here he comes. And there it goes. Stein Metzger again.
17-16.
Karch Karai still leads the AVP Tour in digs, but Metzger today, spectacular.
Well, remember, they were down in game 1, and he came up with a couple of huge ones just about the same time as he did now in game 2. Tied at 16 all, he comes up with another big one, digging that shot down the line that Hyden puts with very little upward trajectory. He didn't have time to get that much for Metzger, but I like the way he was so aggressive on that, bouncing it off the Keenan block.
Last 7 serves now have gone to John Hyden, and he's having some struggles. Metzger, another dig. One-arm bandit. Trouble. And he puts it away. Off Keenan, out of bounds. Noise level on the Steinometer, deafening.
Well, watch right here. The best part of this play is Metzger covering himself. Comes up with it with a left arm and then just shoves that ball through on what was a dangerous set by Lambert. Anytime you put that ball too close, Keenan's going to smother it. Right. Oh, what a great cover by Metzger.
18-16 now. Ty Loomis, Hans Stolfus, Nick Lucena, Mark Williams. Finished 3rd. Anthony Medell, Fred Souza, Dax Holdren, Sean Scott in 7th. Brent Doble, Matt Olson, Matt Furbringer, Casey Jennings in 9th. So John Hyden and Brad Keenan in trouble, down 1-0. Lambert Metzger on a 3-0 run. Back in Chicago, don't forget our coverage continues tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern time. You will see the AVP women's final. We'll see some new players, some new faces. Of course, before we get back to the action, let's get to that Banana Boat rally of the match. And this is it. Stein Metzger with a phenomenal dig. And that is the longest lasting rally of the match, brought to you by Banana Boat. You can log on to avp.com right now and register for your chance to win a trip to the AVP event at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. the banana boat. Longest lasting rally of the match. Yes, you are watching the AVP on NBC. 2-day coverage. The men on Saturday, and a Cubby fan, of course. And the women tomorrow. It is 18-16 our score. Hyden and Keenan trying to hang in here. And Mike Lambert with another huge block. His fourth.
Give Lambert and Metzger credit. They do something that most teams don't. They switched their tactics and took the serves to Hyden about the middle of this game. Have scored a number of points off him. Normally he has been very steady all through this 2007 season, but he's given up some digs, and there Lambert gets him on the block.
24 of the first 26 went to Keenan. The last 9 have been to Hyden, and Hyden mad pounds one. Hyden and Keenan 2 points away from elimination.
19-17.
But they've got the guy that they want serving, the stronger server here, Brad Keenan, making the set there. Keenan coming up on this serve. Again, in his first final, he needs to come up huge here to pull back and keep this going alive to a third game.
3 aces on the day for big Brad Keenan. Now, can he get this one in? A 2-point advantage for Lambert and Metzger. Metzger, cross court, yes. The top seeded team here in Chicago, Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert, will serve for the championship. Hyden and Keenan will try to hang on here. First championship point. Keenan, no touch detected. It's over here in Chicago. Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert have done it again. They repeat as champions.
And boy, they had a shaky start, Chris, at 12-7, but came back since then really strong, dominating the rest of this final.
Stein Metzger, the star of the match. Well, certainly one of the 2 stars. And his partner, Mike Lambert, coming up big with some timely blocks at the net. Lambert and Metzger, the champs a year ago. And they repeat at the McDonald's AVP Chicago Open. Good finish for John Hyden and Brad Keenan in their first final together. One more look at championship point.
Keenan really not having much of a chance to do anything with that ball, and now Metzger Lambert winning are only 162 points behind Dahlhauser and Rogers in the Crocs Cup standings. That's exactly what they wanted to accomplish this weekend, pull themselves into a close race with just 4 tournaments to go on the 2007 AVP Tour.
Last year, you proved.
Oh, a big check coming up for Stein Metzger and Mike Lambert. Their 4th AVP win this season. Dahlhauser and Rogers have 6 wins. Lambert and Metzger are right behind. When we come back, we'll hear from the winners. Stay tuned.